Today on the Ace of Spades, we have Jarrod Wilkins. He has been in the network marketing business for over 15 years. He's been featured in Home Magazine, Networker Magazine. He's built organizations in over 20 different countries. He's one of the top earners in his company with over 1.5 million distributors and generate over $1 billion in sales. Mr. Jarrod Wilkins, welcome to the Ace of Spades.
Man, I'm glad to be on here with you. I'm excited to share what I call some transferable truths, man. I appreciate you for inviting me on, David.
Thank you for coming. With your intro being said, let's ask you, what led to your decision to get into network marketing?
It was, serendipitous, to say the least, because I had no plan to be involved in this profession at all. Didn't understand it. I thought, just like so many of us, it's one of those pyramid things. And so I got that bit of advice from my father. Both of my parents are attorneys. My mother's from Nigeria and my dad from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So roll tide. But anyhow, he had told me, I'll never forget, I was about 16 or 17 years old. I was working a job and I came into his law firm with a book. And I was wanting to start some type of entrepreneurial endeavor, some type of business. And I showed him this business that had the network marketing business model structure. And he said, son, that's one of those things where all the people at the top make all the money and all the people at the bottom do all the work. And so that was the context and my paradigm of network marketing until a friend of mine invited me to take a look at a business because he had somebody invite him to come out and take a look at it. And I literally, David, went with my friend. This was about 16 or 17 years ago. I went with him to help him tell the guy no, that he wouldn't be doing it because I had all the information. I had all the truth. This is you trying to scam my friend. And so I was successful in convincing my friend that he and I would not do it, although it made some sense when they explained the business model and concept to me in person. But because I had that truth in my mind. And that's why I tell people there's a difference between a truth and the truth. And oftentimes we promote our experience onto people and act as if it is some illuminous idea or notion that we've, conjured up or thought of and we've got data to back up. And it's amazing to see 17 years later, not only have we been blessed to be in this profession and do extremely well, but that friend that I once helped to say no is also in the same profession. So it's an exciting turn.
I wanted to ask, I know in your background you have the build it for your last name logo. And one thing that I noticed is just when following you is the ability that you have to have vision. And I want to know what was the idea as far as behind incorporating that into your business and essentially saying that it's not just about you.
Yeah. Well, for me, initially it started off about me. I tell people all the time, people have these illusions of grandeur. They want to change the world, but they don't really want to change themselves, David. Everybody wants to disrupt and revolutionize the world and make this big mark, but they don't want to stay up late. They don't want to wake up early. They don't want to be committed to the process. And so for me, the truth of the matter is the first 6 years in my career in this profession, David, I didn't even earn $100,000 combined. Notice I didn't say make, earn, because I believe you can make money, but it's a few of us that understand how to earn it. And when you earn it, it's because you've learned it as well. And so my first 6 years, I didn't earn it, but I did learn. I learned from people that had done extremely well in business and had been able to teach other people to do the same thing. Two of my first original mentors have amassed a net worth of more than $100 million separately in this profession and have gone on to do extremely well. But that first 6 years, people say it was some people use the term struggle. It was not a struggle. I was enjoying paying the privilege. I don't even call it a price. It was a privilege to go to business briefings for me. It was a privilege to go to the various trainings and the coaching sessions. I was excited to be around successful thought leaders and people that were changing their lives. Professional people that were physicians or attorneys or engineers or just business people that were involved in the profession that I could rub shoulders with, people that, because I've got a PhD, a public high school diploma. So I wouldn't have these people in my Rolodex. So I was excited. I was the young kid on the block in my early 20s, and I'll be taking notes, journaling, and, going through that process, going to the events, helping them set up, helping them break down. And I was really learning back then what I do today. But, the last 9 years, in the words of Jim Rohn, I love quoting him. He says, life will always be opportunity mixed with difficulty. It's opportunity mixed with difficulty. So the opportunity was the last 9 years, we were blessed based on what we learned to start earning millions of dollars in our career in network marketing. And I got to this plateau, David, in 2014. I got to this plateau and it came from, you paying this privilege, you traveling and missing events, being disconnected from the norms of society because you're pursuing a vision, you're pursuing an objective, you're pursuing a goal. And that's what I was doing. And I got to this point where we were making more money in a month than I used to make in a year. I mean, I had weeks, David, and I'm in my 20s now, having weeks of more than $20,000 a week in income. And things are rolling and excited, but here's what I start to do. Never forget, 30th birthday. 30th birthday, because at 30, they said the light bulb's supposed to go off. At 30, you become the flesh of what you were as a skeleton in your 20s. And in your 30s, you're supposed to now go from, in my mind, adulthood to manhood. In your 30s, you're supposed to have things together. And in my 30s, David, I found myself on my birthday, a couple months prior to September. I just had my biggest month of earnings. Made a little over $86,000 for the month. To make $1 million a year, you just got to average $83,000 a month, right? 12 months, you over $1 million a year. So I had $86,000 for the month, brother. I'm thinking I'm going to be fired up. I'm thinking, David, the celestial choir is going to start singing. The heavens are going to part, the clouds are going to part, and they're going to be cheering me on. And here I was on my floor, not even in my bed, in tears, saying, I should be so much further away. David, I had friends of mine that were earning $100,000, $200,000 a month, and I was comparing my results to theirs. I was comparing what I was building to their blessing. And I always tell people now, David, that comparison is the thief to all joy. And it took me on this spiral, whereas here I was, financially I'm at a high, but emotionally I'm at a low. Business-wise, I'm at a high, but my cadence, my soul was thirsty. And it started to spiral. And here's what happens with sabotage. Sabotage kicks in our life, in every area of our life. When we get to the place where things are going so well and we have not trained our mental capacity to receive it all, we find a way. And it took me on this downward spiral, 2015. My income, because I was not grateful for where I was. This is how God works. Gratitude is the seed for more. I'll say it one more time slowly. Gratitude is the seed for more. It is the seed. You don't reap the harvest in the same season you planted the seed. And so 2013, I planted the seed of comparison. I planted the seed of sabotage. I planted the seed of ungratefulness. I planted the seed of unforgivableness. 2014, the harvest showed up. My income dropped in half. Oh, Jesus. 2015, it dropped again. It dropped by more than a quarter, almost $300,000+ for that year. Actually, 2015, it dropped, if I'm completely honest, almost $400,000 for the year. From 2 years prior. And now, David, my team, the people I'm building with, the people I'm running with, the people that I'm washing their feet, because remember, Jesus washed the feet of those that worked and walked with him. He was only washing the feet of those that worked with him and walked with him. So the people that I was washing their feet, I watched their incomes dissipate. And it wasn't because we slept with anybody's wife. It wasn't because we stole anybody's money. It wasn't because we were cussing people out. None of those things. It's just sometimes I've discovered, David, in life that bad things do happen to good people. And opposed to us asking, why me, you've got to get to the point of resolve where you say, life, try me. Try me. And you'll see all this personal development I've been reading is going to come out. Try me. All this motivation and all this inspiration is going to spew out because what's in will always come out. And so here's what happened with this vision. You set this logo, BIFYLN, this brand, what it's turned into. It came from the birthing canal, David. I know this is a long answer, but it's an answer that I've got to be long with. The other ones I can be short with because this is the substratum of why I'm here today. Had it not been for this vision being birthed out of the pain and the process of what I was going through, because I tell people all the time, pain will teach you life lessons that your pride wouldn't allow you to learn. And I was on my floor. I was on my floor in tears. We would do a podcast every single morning, my wife and I. And we would do this podcast. I don't want to go so deep into that story, but, I'm connected and assigned to people that have been marginalized, that have been sabotaged, people that, you are in line to go next. You're on the cusp, on the epicenter of being the next one. And the people that you think are supposed to help you are the ones holding you back. That's why I'm assigned to, because that was my experience. And through this birthing canal of doing this podcast, I found a way to pour. I found a way to speak truth power. I found a way to explain and educate and equip and empower my experience, my wife and I, to people all over the world. And we start seeing thousands of people listen to this podcast every single day. It's called Motivational Moments in the Morning, and it's still available. But here's what happened. I'm on my floor. I'm in tears after this podcast. We would do it every single morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. I'm on the floor. I had worship music playing in the background after we had finished. And I was crying out. I had been seeking. I had been saying, God, I need you to show me what you want me to do next. I know what you did last season. I know what you're doing right now. I'm grateful and I'm learning and I got it. But God, I need you to show me what you need me doing next. When I stay in my now, I probably won't make it out. And I'll never forget, David, hearing him clearly. Because you can hear me clearly now. I'm on my floor in tears, laid out in a prostrate position. I didn't want to hear from another business mentor. I didn't want to hear from a business consultant. I didn't want to hear from no $1 million friends of mine. I didn't want to hear from anybody. I want to hear from God. I said, God, if you're real, you better come talk to me, or I'm about to go sign an application with the devil and do his work. You better come get me. If you really care, you better, I don't care. I know people dying from cancer. I know people are getting bombed on. I know it's real stuff going out there, but man, you better come talk to me. And he came, man. Oh God. Out of 7.5 billion people, he came and visited me for that brief moment on the floor, because I believe he meets us at, I don't mean to be preachy, man. I really want to keep this as a business conversation. I'm sorry, but it's got to come out. Man, he came and he visited me. David, I was on the floor and all I heard him say was, son, build it for your last name. I got up. That's what vision does. Vision causes you to get up from being a victim. Vision pulls you up from where you put yourself down. Vision pulled me up. I got up. I said, man, I'm about inheritance. I'm about legacy. I want to do something that fulfills me. I want to do something that when I die and I leave here, people will be impacted. People will be inspired by what my life's work was. And I ran downstairs to my wife. I said, baby, starting in 2016, we're going to build it for our last name. And we are assigned to people. Like the words inheritance, the word and the work, legacy, people that have passion projects and purpose work that they've always wanted to pursue, and maybe they haven't had the money, maybe they haven't had the time, the experience, the platform to do it. That's who we're assigned to, and we're going to use the profession, the vehicle of network marketing as the place, because I tell people all the time, a stage is for performing, a platform is for empowerment, and you are too anointed to remain anonymous. I said, baby, starting in 2016, all we're going to do for the rest of our life is build it for our last name. It's going to have meaning, and people that want to do the same thing, that's who we're assigned to in this next season. And so here it is. Since 2016 to this day, that vision that God gave me through prayer and fasting, she and I, we fasted for 2 weeks. No food from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. All of that accumulation of time and all of that took place, I look at it now, David, and all over the world, I hear people, I see people on social media and in person, whether I'm going through the airport or whatever it is, they point, build it for my last name, Jarrod. And I remember where I was in 2015 on the floor when God took a moment out of his time to whisper in my ear what has resonated in so many people's hearts.
That's absolutely powerful. And that leads into my next question. If you are, say, a scientist, for example, and I completely subscribe and I want to build it for my life, what would your role be? How would you help me do that?
You know, first of all, we'll identify what that means for you. Because building it for your last name, it's a vision, meaning it is what you see. That's what vision is. Vision is what I call, or what my late mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, calls vision is your purpose in pictures. And so when you get a vision, it causes you to see something. So my objective when I connect with you is to find out, what do you see? What does that future look like? What are you going after? And then based on that, we now then put together a plan of how to get there. I never tell a person how to do something until I find out what they see. Because if you want to get from here to California, you can drive, you could get on a plane, you could get on a bus. I venture to say you can run or walk, but why you want to get there is more important than what you see by getting there. So that's my whole process. My process is to converse with that person, to identify what they see, and then we put in the proper platform for them to get there.
Outside of building for your last name, being the vision and the business and we do have like different vehicles to get there. At what point would you say, as we kind of like or maybe a tough question, at what point would you say this vehicle isn't working for me? I need to move on. How do you let go?
You know, that's real simple now that I've been through it before. You let go when you've outgrown it. And this is how you know you've outgrown it. When you keep attempting to stuff your foot that is now a size 10 into a size 8. You're crammed. It's tight. It doesn't feel right. You're swamped. You're marginalized. You are obstructed. You're having to walk on eggshells. It's not that you don't like the people. You have outgrown the place. I call it, David, the place of transition. Transition is that place that we all get to in life where you say, I'm no longer a caterpillar, but I'm not quite a butterfly. I'm somewhere in between. You understand? And so I know I am no longer suited to be in this place when the people that are here are no longer getting value from me, and I'm no longer bringing value to them. See, that's what the word community is. Community is common unity. Common unity. That's community. So when there's no common unity, that means I have to disconnect. I have to dislodge. And, you know, in our profession of network marketing, I venture to say this in a lot of organizations and industries, people have a very hard time with seeing people go. We begin to label everyone who leaves as Judas. And let me break your bubble. Not everybody that leaves your organization, your company, or team is Judas, because you have left somewhere before too. It's called life, right? You've left too. And so we've got to be very careful how we label people that leave, because in order for you to lead, oftentimes you have to lead. Let me say it slow. Many times, in order for you to lead the next chapter of your life, lead a legacy, lead different people, lead a different experience, you have to leave. Steve Jobs had to leave Atari to go and lead in Apple. You understand? Everybody that you see, the majority of heroes and business minds and people that have done extremely well, they had to leave. Do you understand? You got to leave high school so you can lead in college. You got to leave college so that you can lead in life. And so it's a matriculation, it's a progression. And just because a person leaves me doesn't mean they're not with me. And so I know for a fact, when it's time to transition, you got to pay attention, make sure you're not in your feelings about things, but you just have to be cognizant. You've got to be aware of the seasons in your life. And you've got to be strong enough to take that leap of faith when it's time to lead.
That was absolutely perfect. I love that.
Yes, sir.
Network marketing, it's one of the businesses you can start that technically comes with it has the potential to come with a mentor.
Yes.
What is the importance as far as like having like leadership skills, and what did mentorship do for you?
Mentorship is everything. Mentorship is wisdom without the wounds. It is the gain without all of the pain. It's the cheat code. Okay, that's what mentorship is. And a lot of times people say, "Can you mentor me?" No, I cannot. Why? Because you haven't served for me to mentor you. You've got to. The only way to gain mentorship is through service. That's the only way. You can pay for coaching sessions, but coaching is not mentoring. Coaching is the how-to. Mentoring is the why-to.
Oh man.
Yeah. So when a person is mentoring you, they are pouring their life's philosophies, meaning how they think through a process, how they think through. They're pouring their thinking into you. And so the only way to get close enough to a person, and I'm not talking about being mentored through books or being mentored through people, speaking from the stage. For me, there's so much power in proximity. So I want it to be around. I wanted to see the ashiness on your elbows. Yeah, I wanted to demystify success. And the way I was able to do it is through serving my way into. And that's another thing people don't understand. They think service means you are subservient. No. Service means I'm serving my gift. Whatever I'm gifted to do, I am humble enough to give to the mentor that I want to mentor me. And remember, the protege or the mentee never chooses the mentor. No, it is the mentor that chooses the mentee. And so you got to decide if you want to be a protege or if you want to be a parasite.
Oh.
Because a protege wants what's in the mentor's heart. A parasite wants what's in the mentor's hand. And so mentorship, true mentorship, it's not glamorous. True mentorship is not fortune and just fame. True mentorship is not, oh, tell me what I want to hear, show me how to do it. True mentorship is service. It's being afforded the opportunity to be checked up from the neck up. It is accountability. Mentorship is submit. Oh God, I hear you. Mentorship is, as a mentee, you must be willing to submit your thinking to that of the mentors. That's true mentorship.
Wow. And speaking of submission, I believe this would be a great segue. What if in building a business and focusing on all the aspects of it, what do you see people often doing wrong? What are they getting wrong?
I don't think it's necessarily what people are getting wrong, because success is not always about what you need to start doing. Most of the times it's what you need to stop doing. And so what people have to stop doing is stop submitting themselves to limiting beliefs. That's what really holds a lot of us back. It's our limiting beliefs of, I'm not good enough. It's the fear of I'm not good enough, the fear of responsibility, i.e. the fear of success. It is the fear of the unknown. It is the fear of rejection. Those are the fears that people have to deal with and grapple with when they step into this profession, because that's what plagues and faces you, because you have to, maybe for the first time in your life, deal with the man or the woman in the mirror.
Now, speaking of not being good enough, I've seen your good enough speech on YouTube, and like selling yourself first. What are the actions that you're doing personally as far as to continue yourself and incorporate that into your business?
I heard the first part of your question. Give it to me again.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, speaking of not being good enough, as far as I've seen your good enough speeches on YouTube and selling yourself first.
Yes.
What are some of the things you're doing to push your self-development, and how are you segueing that into your business?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I do is I get around people that have accomplished more than I have, because they've seen a mountaintop that I haven't been to, but I'm striving to get to. And so one of the biggest things is, I always say it, proximity is power. Your environment is everything. What do people have you thinking? What do people have you believing? And what do they have you saying? So you put yourself, or I put myself in environments that grow me, that stretch me to say, oh my goodness, I was thinking that was a lot of money in a year. Oh, you could do that in a month. Okay. Oh, you could do that in a week. And I use money as the barometer because impact drives income. So a lot of times, because of our stinking thinking, oh, it's not about the money. It's always about the money. It always is. In business, it's always about the money. Now, it should not be the only thing, but it is everything. Because in our business, it's the substratum of the $500 a month earners is the totality of the $5 million a month earners. Meaning, the more people you're influencing, the more people you're impacting, will derive and depict and describe your income. So for me, it's putting myself in environments where the conversations are different. They're talking about ideas and concepts that I've not really grasped at a deep level, because you know something when you're producing it. So a lot of times you go, oh, I've heard that before. I've heard that person say that. I've read that before. Well, you know it when you are producing it. And so until you're producing it, you got to go hear it, because faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. So I put myself around people and environments, whether it be seminars, whether it's one-on-one experiences, whether it's going to different events. Just came back from one the last 3 days. It's being in that environment, and it changes your perspective. It inspires and lights a fire inside of you to really say, man, I've done well, but there's so much more to do. I was on a plane last night headed back to Houston, and there was a little turbulence. And anybody that knows me, they know I love flying as long as there's no turbulence. Okay, when it's turbulence, I start opening up the window. My wife always laughs, like, "What you gonna do? You gonna jump out?" No, I just want to see what's going on. You know, did we hit a bird? Was it a fire? I don't know. It's just innate in me. When we start getting that bubble or that bump, I open up the window, and it hit me last night when I opened up the window and I couldn't see anything out of it. I said, man, if I died today, the world wouldn't stop. I still got moving. When Dr. Martin Luther King died, the world stopped for a moment. When Nelson Mandela died, the world stopped for a moment. When great men and great women, when Mother Teresa died, the world stopped for a moment. When you die, will the world even stop for a moment? Or would it be like you never even existed? I said, man, I've got to give more. Give more of my energy, give more of my time, give more of my ideas, give more of my thoughts, give more of my focus, give more of my attention to people, because it is the hand that gives that's always on top.
If I wanted to increase my income to 6 figures, 7 figures, I was going to ask, what do I need to do to make that happen? But it seems like that I need to increase my impact, and that will be
Absolutely. Increase your intake so you can increase your output.
And I was going to ask, this is a little bit personal. Did you have to convince your wife to come on board with you? If you guys are tag teaming and it's a 1-2 punch, and typically in business, I'm like, okay, well, that's your dream, that's mine. Like, is that a process as far as, they touched on it briefly when you got the vision. So it's like, is that like a process, or is it like, I'm on board with it?
No, man, she was assigned to me. So she came on board. She was bought in 1,000%. She had her own vision, and it's been a match made in heaven. I've never had to convince her to buy into the vision. Oftentimes, she reminds me of what the vision is, so that when I'm having my human moments of wanting to give up and quit, she is the wind beneath my wings. So I haven't had that experience with her. I've had it before with previous relationships where I was told, you don't care about us. If you really cared, you would go work at McDonald's. My wife was like, baby, you ain't working at no McDonald's. You gonna make this thing happen, and I'm gonna help you do it too.
I love it.
Yes.
In closing, I want to ask, what is something you would say would be a staple or continuing taken away from all of your experiences? From being not successful at first, and the transition, building your interview from something new. What was something you say the pivotal moment?
It is my signature message. I am good enough. It was through the vicissitudes of life that brought me to the point of the spear through what I had seen, what I've experienced, what I've been a part of, to say that there's nothing so great about him. There's nothing so marvelous about her that I don't have inside of me. I am good enough. I've got everything that I am supposed to have innately. There's some things that I've got to develop. There's some things about me that I've got to sharpen, but it's already in me. If I focus on it, and I say this to myself resoundingly, out loud, day in and day out, I am good enough. I am good enough, because what I'm innately doing is confirming to myself that I deserve and I am worthy of accomplishing what God has sent me here to accomplish. So for me, that's really what it's been.
Jarrod, I want to thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
If I was going to ask you, do you want to leave any closing remarks? That was amazing. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Man, that's all I want to share with everybody. Thank you, David, for having me on. I sincerely appreciate it. You giving me an opportunity to really give to people today, so that when I leave this earth, the world will pause for a moment to just say, he touched me.
Yeah, I think we should all strong from that. Thank you, and I will definitely get you back on, and we'll do one in person next time.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, man. Thank you for the work you're doing, and keep leading.